I believe I'm live. Welcome to the Watchman News and episode 1 of Saturday Night Dumpster Fire. So, out of the gate, I want to say that I need to close this window. Hang on. Close it. Out of the gate, I want to say that the title of the show is not meant to be, it's not meant to be dramatic. It's actually meant to be humorous. So, I just want to say that. I think it needs to be said. Tonight is probably going to be a little bit of a different episode than what you're going to be experiencing the following Saturdays on out. And the reason why is because I've got a lot of splaining to do. So that's what I'm going to spend time doing, as well as communicate with you in the chat. So, there's been different events over the course of, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks, I guess, since this came out. There have been some things that caused me a lot of self-reflection. And starting, without a doubt, with this book, The Earth Exhaled. Good book. I highly recommend you read it. It's absolutely incredible. It's phenomenal. I kept reading what was in the back of the book, the acknowledgement, and not out of pride, although I am very proud and I appreciate Joe. There's something that he had wrote in there. And at the same time, when I read it, and I had that pride, and if something's up with my audio, let me know, because my meters are a little off, so if I'm quiet, let me know. If I'm loud and overmodulating, let me know. I don't have headphones on, so I, of course, I was proud and elated, and to be honest, that's the biggest honor that I've ever had. And there was something in it, though, at the same time, that kicked me in the gut like you wouldn't imagine. I'm going to read it because it's important. It's important. Again, this was the beginning of where I was like, wait a minute, Mike. You've got to take a step back. You've got to think about this. What Joe wrote was to Mike Callahan, "Sir, you're a walking, talking Wikipedia. I appreciate your enthusiasm, not just in magnetic pole shift, but in all things." Now that may not mean much to other folks, but to me, it was a reflection. And I realized that although I am much the same person on YouTube as what I am in real life, I mean, it's me. I don't put on any kind of a front. But it seems like when I made content or when I went live, I got this stick up my butt. And that's not so much me. It's really not. Enthusiastic. I am a very enthusiastic, positive individual. You may not know that being a viewer here, being a subscriber here. You may not know that about me. I've got this crazy, wicked, twisted sense of humor that unfortunately you guys haven't gotten to see a whole lot of. That is going to change. I've been doing a lot, and I've been doing my best at repenting. Been contacting people that I haven't been so nice to. Been sending emails apologizing, and I mean it. I truly mean it. I do apologize. I'm trying to diagnose where and what went wrong. And part of that, I have to think about, okay, wait a minute. When was there a change? I finally found the button to fix that. When did that change happen in me and my attitude? Because the Watchman news started off fairly strong. And while I'd never been one out pandering for a ton of subscribers, and I wasn't pandering for money or anything like that, that's not my intent. It's never been my intent here. I did good up until COVID. I did okay. Not good. I did okay. Then when the whole COVID nightmare came around, myself personally, I took a couple steps up in seriousness. And that is where I made one of the mistakes. Man, I've got a lot of people to thank and appreciate for, whether they know it or not, getting me back in the right direction. And Joe's at the top of the list. But there are two YouTube channels that I am madly in love with. Absolutely madly in love with. And one of them, video's up right there because I got to finish it after I'm done here. But Mike Tango Whiskey, incredible man. And at the beginning of his Hurt Feelings report, he had read one of my comments, and he had made a statement that really, it hit me hard, you know. And I appreciate it. Mike Tango Whiskey, I definitely appreciate it. I love you too, brother. I really do. Platonically. I don't know of a good example right now of how I love you like, but I'm sure I'll come up with something eventually. Just for a second, Mike Tango Whiskey, I believe my very first comment on his channel was something to the effect of, please don't delete comments. And I don't know if before I said that, what his mindset was. I don't know if he already had intent of doing Hurt Feelings reports. But however that worked out, it's genius. It's genius. And he does a great job. And a great model, in my opinion, on how to operate, how to run a YouTube channel. I really firmly believe that. The other one, way far away from anything prepping or news related, and that would be Cletus McFarlane. I have never seen a man with as much as what Cletus McFarlane has, and at the same time be as humble as he is. An absolute great role model. And so I'm trying to get more away. It's raining and all that crap. My cameras like to act stupid when it rains. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. I've stopped watching so much of negative content. Not necessarily negative content, but just stuff that, a lot of it news, to be honest. And I've been spending a lot more time watching things that I can just enjoy. I don't enjoy news. That's just like a fact of life. It's just a thing. I don't enjoy it. So I've been spending some more time watching things that are a lot more lighthearted. And it's been having a positive effect. I quit listening to a lot of music a while back, and the reason why is because, well, it doesn't honor the Father. And I'm really trying to to do a good job there. And so I noticed that there was even a change in me when I switched my choice of music to listen to. There was a change. So I'm going to continue that change when it comes to the content that I take in. And I'm also going to make it's going to be rough because this has been 11 years. I'm going to make an attempt to try to live a little bit more of a normal life. Yeah, Hetty Hayes. Cletus is a legend. He is, and I don't miss an episode either. Hell yeah, brother. Today was incredible. I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe old boy actually hard parked the RTR. It was incredible. I couldn't tell you. Jen could. I probably haven't yelled and hooped and hollered and screamed at a YouTube video like that in a long damn time. It was a blast. It was a blast. So I want to thank those individuals for being good role models. All of them. Joe, Mike Tango Whiskey, Cletus McFarland. I want to thank them for being good role models. And, I'm pretty good at being a horse's ass. So I'm going to put on the horse blinders and I'm going to shield out all the folks that I don't know what the hell. Whatever. But I'm just going to ignore that, ignore them, and I'm going to focus on what I am doing and how I can help, because that's the kind of person I am. If you don't know me in real life, I'm the kind of person you don't have to ask to help, because if I see a need, I'm there, and I'm helping, and I don't expect anything in return, and that's how I am. That's the kind of person I am. Some folks know I've been doing repairs, and it's one of those deals to where if there's somebody that needs something done and they just don't have the funds, we can, as long as they can get whatever they need as far as the parts and whatnot, if they need parts. Hey, what did I put any time into that? I don't see any time. You know what I mean? Because that's what good human beings do. And I always try to be a good human being. I really do. And that's one of the reasons why it does frustrate me when people try to cast me as something other than that. And it's happened a lot in my life. And I do take it personally. And it does upset me because I know who I am. And I am not a bad guy. Done a lot of dumb stuff throughout my life, and I think probably most of us have. But, I try to learn from it, and I try to do better. Yeah, it's like helping reconfigure a PC after installing a program to play Battlefield. I can count on how many times you have helped me out. Well, thank you, brother. Thank you. Yeah, that was a fun one, eh? You weren't the only one. There was a ton of people that had that issue. So what I was saying is I'm, as far as life, I'm going to try to make a little bit of a shift too. I said before that I won't be back doing this 5 nights a week, and I won't. But I do see myself doing this 1 night a week. And I thought, well, Saturday sounds good to me. 8 o'clock sounds good to me. The only thing that's going to change that is when we get into the spring, and when the time changes back again in the spring and the sun's, up later than 8 p.m., then the show will get pushed back because I will not do the show during Shabbat. So, as long as the sun's down, I'll be on at 8. But when when the cycles are longer and the time changes and whatnot, the show will get pushed back until after the Sabbath. So, other than that, it'll be Saturday night. As far as the rest of my time, I want Jen and I to try to have some kind of a normalcy. We've been together 11 years. And this is what we've known from day one. This is what we've known. When we got started, that was when the Malheur Wildlife Reserve deal was going on with the Bundys, and we were out of the gate, and it's been we've been doing this ever since. Jen and I, ever since we've been living together, we've not gone out. We've not gone out to a movie. We haven't done, and part of it, yeah, we don't have the funds, and when we do have some extra funds, it goes into stuff for preparedness. And so, Jen and I need some normal time. So, I'm going to try to do that, and it's not easy. It's not easy. Some people might notice the difference in my screen arrangement. That's for gaming. And I'm not much of a gamer. I never have been much of a gamer. And I'm having a rough time with it because I love to do flight sim. I love flying. And I love playing VTOL VR. That's fun. Battlefield 6. I don't know if it's going to get delayed or not, but it's supposed to be out in October. But there's some kinks that just recently popped up that could cause the date to get pushed back or could cause some other kind of problems. So we'll see on that. And then I got to be able to afford the damn thing. It's like $70, and that's a chunk of change for me. And $70 can go a lot of ways right now. And game's probably not the most important. So we'll see. All I can do is keep pushing forward the best I can, and what happens happens. But that's why. And I want to try to relax. The problem is I can't relax. I cannot relax. I can go into a game, I can fire up Flight Simulator, and I'm in it 5-10 minutes. And if you know anything about Flight Simulator, it takes about that time to load up. So I'll be in it 5-10 minutes, and I just gotta walk. I gotta stop. I don't know why. It's just I can't relax is the problem. And so I got to fix that. I said I'd contacted or been in contact with individuals and apologized. Prepper Nurse 1. I sent him off an email this evening and not expecting anything in return. But, I can't say that there wasn't anything that I didn't, that it was just all me. No, I can't say that. But what I can say, it was absolutely at least half, if not a little more, me. And, again, I sat there and I really did some soul searching and I did some deep digging to try to figure out where I got derailed. COVID. I did not realize the psychological impact that had on me. And it was pretty massive. So now that I know the root, I can start working on undoing it. You're going to see probably not a whole lot of, at least not really a whole lot of news out of here. The Saturday night dumpster fires, you won't see me bringing up news articles. I don't have any browsers open for news articles or anything like that. You're not going to see that. This is for discussion. This is for us talking. And absolutely we can talk about the news. That's kind of the point of it. But, I'm kind of stepping back from news, and I'm going to put more time and effort into preparedness and things that can help you, that can actually help you. Yeah, and you know what? Hetty Hayes said something, and I don't know if it was purely joke, but it shouldn't be if it is, because he's right. He commented right now, it's the long hair. Your antennas are back. And he's right. One of my whacked out theories, if you will, not so much my theory, but nonetheless, there's not a lot of people that would share it. One of my whacked out theories is that looks like Bear just put out a good video. I'll have to check that out when I'm done too. I firmly believe that our pineal gland, however you want to pronounce it, I know it's pronounced 2 or 3 different ways, that's like our third eye. And in my opinion, it's our connection to the Father. And I firmly believe that if our pineal gland is the radio transmitter to talk to the Father, our hair is the antenna. I know that might sound crazy, but I would remind you about Samson. Go read about Samson again and think about it with a different set of eyes. And yes, sir, you are right. And I do feel an easier, much more present connection. But I hate it. It's hot. It's hot. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Hetty Hayes said that, and I got to work on getting the chat up here, so I'm going to work on that this week. So my goal for next week is I'll have the chat on screen. Because I've had a lot of trouble. I mean, there's ways I know to do it, but I want to do it through Streamlabs instead of just bringing in a screen grab. I did not know that. He said he heard it from me initially, and he said Phil Robertson from Duck Dynasty said God gave us the hair for a reason, so he said we had better keep it. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. So hopefully, we can start taking this a new direction. Some of you may have seen I started a new video series today. It's going to be about electric motors, and my intention by the time that I'm done doing that video or that series is that folks will know how to diagnose and repair the more common electric motors. I really don't expect that folks are going to have to build one, make one, but we're going to do that because that's going to help folks understand a little bit better how they work. So we will absolutely do that. I will also be branching out because there are simple things like ceiling fans. I'm pointing at the ceiling fan above me. Those can be made into generators pretty easily, I might add. Also, what was it the other... alternators on cars. You know, you can actually turn an alternator into an electric motor. You most certainly can. So we're going to do that, and we're going to go through this electric motor business, and I've got a challenge for me. I don't like competing with other people, and the reason I don't like competing with other people, and I just got to say it. There are a lot of people that don't like losing, and I'm generally pretty good at the things I do. And so I don't like conflict. I don't. Not even a little bit. I don't. Doesn't mean I won't defend myself. I will most certainly defend myself. But I don't like to. I don't want to. I don't like conflict at all. And I've found throughout my life, when I've competed with others, it winds up in conflict. So I'd just rather not compete. And when I do compete, it's with myself. And I just try to make myself better and better and better, and I don't even look at anybody else. That, by the way, is how I got good at doing things. because I'm not watching other people. I'm not trying to be other people. I'm just trying to figure out the best way to do it myself. So after we get done with the series on the electric motor, I've got a challenge for me. And hopefully, through that challenge, you folks will be able to copy what I do and have the same results. There are certain things that I talk a lot about on this show, and one of them is wood gasification, gasifiers, and using wood gasification to power combustion engines. I don't have one here at my home to show you. I really didn't have room. We're jam-packed as it is. And the other thing is I don't have all of the tools that I normally use to build them here at home. I don't have a welder. I don't own a welder. I wished I did, but I don't. My tools are pretty limited. I have very few power tools. I've got a drill and an impact, a Dremel tool, that's it. I don't have a lot of tools. So the challenge is for me to build a gasifier without welding. No welding. Using what tools I have and the materials. Here's the thing. The materials all have to be things I can scavenge. Nothing can be bought brand new from the store. Nothing. Everything's got to be stuff that I can just come across. Because I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how easy it is to do. I'm very confident. I call it a challenge. I'm very confident. I'm more than confident. I'm positive it's going to be a no problem. But I want to do it because I want to show you, and I want to show you how to do it. Because that's the whole point of me talking about them. That's the whole point. So that's going to be upcoming, and that might be a little bit down the road because the motor series is going to take a little bit. And then again, I've got to get all this stuff together. A couple of things that I don't have yet that I want to get, because it's not just a gasifier. I need a small combustion engine to power it, from the gasifier. But I'm also going to need something like an alternator for a car or something, just something that I can design a basic rudimentary charging system with. So that's probably what it's going to wind up being. It's probably just going to be a, ragged old lawnmower engine that I can come across, and ragged old working alternator I can come across, and then the rest of the stuff. Like I'm going to go down. I've never... all of the gasifiers I've built have been large. They've all been using 55-gallon drums. This one I'm going to make smaller. I'm going to use a 30-gallon drum. So, because look, with a 55-gallon drum, you can power a car with that. You can literally drive a car around with that, a tractor, and you don't need all that for a lawnmower engine. Not even close. So I'm going to knock the size down to a 30-gallon drum, and of course that's going to make the difference in the tube size and all that, because I'm going to try to tune it more towards just a single cylinder combustion engine. So again, the major goal of this isn't even really so much that I know I'm going to be able to do it. The goal for this is to show you just how easy it can be done. The hard part comes in tuning it. And if you're not familiar with the combustion engines and how they sound, how they act, how they react, it might take you a little fiddling to get it to function properly. It's not foolproof, that's for sure. It is not foolproof. It takes a little bit of knowledge. It takes a little bit of skill. However, that's important. That's important for us all to build, knowledge and skill. So you can expect to see that. That's going to happen. And I'm sure I'll find many, many, many other projects along the way. And if anybody's got any ideas of things they would like to see, absolutely. Because I am here to help. When I came here on YouTube, I'll say it again, it wasn't to make money. It wasn't to get a bunch of subscribers. And I know that just seems so backwards from the average YouTuber. No, I'm here to help. And just like with real life, don't expect anything in return. The most I expect in return is that you can use the things that I teach you when the time comes, when you need to. That's it. That's it. What you could do to please me 1,000 times over is to teach someone else. That's how you can thank me. By teaching somebody else, passing on that knowledge. Knowledge is the most important thing in the world, at least in my opinion, as far as things that we can achieve. Let me explain why knowledge is important. My family didn't have a ton of money or anything like that growing up. Combination of that, and it seems like I lost everything that I really loved. And when I say that, I'm not talking about people necessarily. I'm talking about things. I constantly, for one reason or another, would lose the things I love. And I was a young kid when I came to this realization. I mean, a young kid. I all of a sudden thought, because I kept hearing over and over and over about how knowledge was power. Knowledge was power. And so I thought, knowledge, that's something that nobody can take from me. That's mine. I earn that. That's mine. In every way. And nobody can take it from me. They can try. They can claim I don't have it. But they can't take it away. That's mine. And so that is why knowledge, that is why learning how to do things has always been so important to me. Because that's the one thing that I can hold on to that you can't strip away from me. Nobody can strip it away from me. I'm an odd duck, and I know it. And I try to work with it. I try hard. I made a post the other day, and I made a comment in the post. I'm gonna look at it, otherwise I'll screw it up. But, where it be? Tired. I ran across a pretty cool sweater, women's sweater today, and I saw it. It was a Facebook ad, and I was scrolling, and it was a woman's sweater that has like this skeleton kind of design on it, right? Knit sweater. It's really cool looking, and I thought, man, this is either a scam or this thing is going to cost so damn much. And I had to click on it, so I did. And $37. I was shocked. I was completely shocked. $37. So, and they had like for $41, they had this black dress with the skeleton knit stuff on it. It looked really, really cool. Let me find this post. Here it is. I'm going to read the original post I made, and I'm going to read what I also commented later. I posted, I think there is one particular thing that sets me apart from most of society. Anytime something happens involving human beings, I make a conscious effort to put myself in the same shoes. Now, if you've been around here very long, you should probably know that. I do everything I can to try to imagine what it's like in another person's shoes. hey man, I don't want people judging me and some of the dumbass stuff I've done um, just based on whatever, you know. Yeah, it was dumbass stuff, but in the shoes I was in at the time, in many cases, I didn't see any other way at the time. Unfortunately, hindsight's a bitch. I go on to say, I do that because it helps me understand myself better. I had to figure out how I was wired differently to be able to address the fallout from being different, both from others and my own mind. I cannot apologize for not being like everyone else in society. I cannot. I don't give a damn how much people hate me. I'm going to follow that Bible to the best of my ability, and I'm going to try to understand people as much as I can. And, if and when I can, help them, I will. I will never be sorry for being a decent human being. If that causes people to self-reflect and self-destruct, that is their own problem, their demon. I have dealt with mine for 53 years. I am tired, I am worn out, I'm battle-scarred, and just have no room for bullshit. It is what it is. And in the comments of that, I told a little true story. And here's a fun fact about me before I turned in early, because it was right before I went to bed. I was held back in the 5th grade. True story. Not because of my grades or for lack of intelligence. No, you know how easily I could have been a straight A student all through school? I wouldn't even had to have tried. That's the thing I think I pissed my mom off the most with. Is because I wouldn't have had to even try. I would have just had to, make a little bit of an effort, and I could have been a straight A student. I don't know. But I said I was held back in the 5th grade, not because of grades or lack of intelligence, because as the teacher said, I was too small, which I've always been small for, I'm still small, still scrawny. Too small and immature, and the other kids would run over me. That's what she said. And when I was younger, I was extremely passive, and getting me to stand up for myself was not likely. And I didn't speak up, and I should have. But it wasn't immaturity. I go on to say I had no interest in going out to play with kids who just wanted to pick on each other and be shitty human beings. I would have rather stayed inside and learned something. Truth. I wasn't raised to compete with everyone on everything. I compete with one person, myself. I compete with myself to get better and better. I don't look at others to try to judge where I am in life. I always thought being free meant being free. If you are competing or trying to keep up with the Joneses, you aren't free. You're a slave to society and ego. You certainly aren't free. Good night. Shalom. That's true story. True story. Just like in high school, I got ridiculed like you wouldn't believe because I didn't want to go out drinking. I really had little to no interest in alcohol. And still don't. Still don't, to this day. Not to say I was an angel or anything like that. I'm not trying to make that claim at all. But there were two things. Number one, knowledge. Knowledge. I can read, I can understand, I can comprehend, and I know what alcohol does to the brain. No, thank you. That's not for me. I don't want that. No. And that's not to mention what it does to your liver and everything. No. On top of that, I have an addictive personality, and all it would take would be for me to start a routine of drinking, and I would likely be all in. And I'm conscious of that, and, I remind myself, you got to be careful. So that was part of it. The other part was my dad. My dad scared the hell out of me when it came to alcohol. Not because I seen drunk dad all the time, because I didn't. My dad told us kids countless times that he'd like more than anything to sit down and have a drink with us boys. But he couldn't. He couldn't. And he would tell us that if I have that one drink, the night won't end until the bar's closed and I'm out of money. That's left an impact. But guess what? There was one night my dad did drink. And I remember it pretty vividly. Not because he was mean or anything like that. Not even remotely. Because from my understanding, my dad was really mean when he was drunk. And he had quit drinking before I was born. So that's not something that I got to experience. So he was working, my dad was working a couple of jobs. He was a supervisor at a creosote treating plant. He was a boiler room supervisor. He also worked another job doing janitor work at the Army Depot. And so one night around Christmas, they were having their company Christmas party. And a lot of employees kept on him, you know, hey, you gotta come. And Dad said he said no many, many times, and eventually he gave in. And so he went to go have that one drink. And just like he said, it did not end there. Nope. It ended when he called Mom to come pick him up because he was too drunk to drive. Which I'm glad he did. But to see the horror on my dad's face when he got in that car, horror on his face. And the next day, the immense sadness and regret. That's all I needed to see. My dad was a strong man. Believe me, the cloth I'm cut from, holy hell. My dad was a strong man. And hopefully he raised me to be even a tenth of as strong as him. To see something like that get so much control over him that quickly, that easily, I wanted nothing to do with it. So those are the reasons why I'm not a drinker. And I was chastised. I was picked on a lot as a kid. Right? I know how to deal with bullies. Right? Sad thing is bullies are bullies and they're cowards. Right? It is what it is. I'll leave that at that. But I got bullied a lot. And part of it was because I wouldn't go out drinking. Couldn't tell you how many times I've called the P word because I wouldn't go out drinking. That's another thing. I am going to try to be a little more family friendly with my not that I cuss like a sailor or nothing anyway, but I'm going to try to be mindful of that. Yeah, I was chastised heavily because I wouldn't go out drinking all the time with my friends. But if you know anything about me, when I tell you something, I'm going to do it. You know, I mean, if I tell you I don't want to drink, that means I don't want to drink. I'm the kind of person that I will tell somebody 3 times. The third time, I'll probably snap. Because I do believe that let your yes be yes and your no be no. And I believe that you don't challenge that. I was raised not to challenge that. You didn't challenge my dad on much. You didn't tell my dad no much because you'd be picking yourself up off the floor. That's not hyperbole. I've done it many times. Believe me, it took me a while to learn that lesson. I don't think I ever did. to be real honest. I don't think I ever learned that. Um, but as I got older, as I became an adult, I think he respected my viewpoints a little more. It wasn't so much no as in being defiant. It was no as in I disagree, and I would give cause. I wouldn't just. It wasn't just to be rebellious. Younger days, yeah, it was rebellion. But I think it's best as far as when it comes to the show, as if I just kind of, in a sense, step back as far as the seriousness and stuff like that. And I've got one more thing I want to talk about, and then gonna jump out. I want to check out what Bear's video is about. I know what it's about. He talked about it on his Patreon exclusive live stream the other night, in which I attended and got to hear. I don't know if he just snipped that out or if he made an entirely different video. I'll find out after I'm done watching Mike Tango Whiskey. But I want to talk about one more thing, and this is a little bit heavier than I want this show to be here on out, and that's tomorrow. I am really concerned. Really concerned. And yes, I'm talking about the funeral for Charlie Kirk. I'm nervous about it. I'm sure you've heard that there was an armed individual that they caught today that was there impersonating a law enforcement officer. I think about that whole thing, right? President Trump, Vice President Vance, all those individuals, all those supporters going to be there. Not only do we have a clear and definite domestic issue going on in this country, but that's also prime time if another country wanted to do something stupid. I'm nervous. I'm concerned. So I would ask that folks pray. Please, please, please pray that tomorrow's peaceful. Please. And while you're knelt down in prayer, and this is something I very, very rarely ever ask, please pray for me. Because I need it. I need it. I'm gonna try to do better here. In person, in real life, I don't have so much problem. But for some reason, when I come to YouTube, I get that stick up my butt, and that's got to stop. That's got to stop. I am so concerned about tomorrow and after, but tomorrow's a big one. Tomorrow's a big one. We're at a time and place right now where you and I, as United States citizens, need to take the lead. Because our politicians aren't doing it, our news media isn't doing it. We need to take the lead. Trump was signing some executive order. I think it was the H-1B thing the other day, and I caught a little bit of it. And, he was just typical Trump, and he referred to the left as crazy and all that. And it's like, I get it. I get it. And I can't say I disagree. But maybe it's time we stop that. On all sides. Maybe it's time we stop that. There was a post in our local group recently, and there was a couple of ladies here in town that were kind of going back and forth with one another. And I thought, I think I might be able to help here. And I started commenting, replying, and commenting, and I was trying to at least lay down something that could be agreed upon so that we could build from. And my example to her was, I think the red line, I think the serious red line for, and you know me, I say red team, blue team. I think the serious red line for red team is the kids. Leave the kids alone. Leave the kids alone. That's a hard red line. If we're thinking about Ukraine and Russia and Putin and Zelensky, they've got their red lines. Putin's red line is no NATO in Ukraine. So same thing. Red line. What's the red line? Let's get that basis. Let's set that foundation, that expectation up front. What's the red line? And I don't speak for anybody but myself. But I do think that there would be a lot of conservatives that would agree that a serious red line is the kids and leaving the kids alone. Stop with all this nonsense they're trying to teach in school and all that stuff. It makes me think about it. And I'm 53, and my brothers, I've got 2 older brothers, and I remember when they were going through high school, I remember that there was a bunch of hell raised because they wanted to start teaching sex education in school. And man, there was an outrage. And I remember that. And I reflect on that. And I'm thinking, man, how did we get from an outrage to even talk about sex in school to, oh, it's okay to teach about this and that? No, it's not. It's not. And I'm not quite sure that it's a good idea to teach about sex in school. I'm not sure on that, But as this person commented, and she made a great point, that, a lot of parents aren't doing it. And she's right. She's absolutely right. But see, here was something, because she was in agreement with what I was saying about leaving the kids alone when it comes to all the crazy stuff, right? And, there we started discussion, and we actually had a conversation. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. Gotta try. Sometimes, even when people are being disgusting towards you, it takes somebody to be the bigger person. And sometimes that means swallowing some of your pride. And that's okay. That's okay. I certainly never have a problem with it. Why? Well, first of all, if I can learn something, I'm there. If I can learn, I'm there. You'll see me be, aside from questions I ask, the most quiet, attentive person if I'm learning from you. You can bet it. And that's how I built the knowledge that I have. Because I know how to listen. And I do listen. Even when people don't realize it. My dad probably thought I never listened to him. I sure in the hell tried making it seem that I wasn't listening to him. I was a jerk kid. But I was. And I learned so much from that man. And he probably never realized how much I did learn from him. I made a video some time back about learning from people you don't like. Yeah. I grew up that way. It can be done. I'm used to it. There are channels on YouTube, and I'm not mentioning any names. I don't like the people. The person. I don't. They're not what I would call good human beings. But I can learn from what they're saying. And I do. It's what it is. I'm used to that. I'm wired for that. That's how I grew up. Because I didn't like my dad. Not even a little bit. Not as a kid. But day in and day out, I was learning from him. many, many things that I remember to this day and that has served me my entire life. I really wished that my relationship with my dad could have been better. That would have taken more effort on both of our parts. You know, that whole thing that people say, if you could talk to one person one more time, blah, blah, blah. And not one more time, if you could talk to one person, period, right? Doesn't have to be somebody you've already talked to. Although I'd love to talk to George Carlin, boy, would I love to talk to that man. I would choose my dad without a second thought and without blinking an eye. I would choose my dad. And the first words that would be out of my mouth to my dad is, "I'm sorry." It's amazing how much we learn from the time we're a teenager to the time we're an adult. And I'm still learning. I'm still learning. I suspect I'll never stop learning until my breath stops going in and out. My heart stops beating. I might stop learning then. Might. Probably not, though. Probably not. I have high hopes that I will be with the Father and I will be continuing to learn. That's my hope. Anyway, I'm gonna sign out of here again. The following Saturday Night Dumpster Fires. Again, the name of the show, the thumbnail is meant for humor, not for drama. Gonna be different. They're not gonna be focused on me, and they're not gonna be kind of down, kind of serious discussion. My hope is to have fun. I want to have fun. So, I want to invite you to next Saturday night, episode 2 of Saturday Night Dumpster Fire, and let's try for the real me, which is something that folks on YouTube unfortunately hadn't gotten to see. Anyway, I love you all. I don't know offhand how I love you. I don't want to steal anything from Mike Tango Whiskey, but I love you all. I do. I appreciate you. And let's just try to do better. Right on. Have a good evening. Enjoy your weekend. Shalom.